I hear your story that you're telling us, and I run it through the filter that I know best, which is myself. Mm-hmm. I have a volcanic personality. I don't know your father. I try to be as kind as can be. I came from a very kind father. But I have lost it twice with Gideon, my dear son sitting across from me, recently, in an unacceptable way.
Welcome to our podcast, Don't Listen to Us, or Take It or Leave It Advice podcast. I am Gideon Patinkin, son of you.
Kathryn Grody and
Mr. Patinkin.
Mr. Yes. Patinkin. We're here taking people's calls, questions, experiences.
We'll also take your money, send it in.
We'll take your money.
No. What's the matter with you?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We only accept it in bespoke, hand-woven manila envelopes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Dad, you've started a new workout regimen, lifting weights.
Oh, he's amazing. I'm so jealous.
I tell you, I'm beyond excited about it. I've been doing it. I've had 5 sessions with this wonderful new trainer. He's just a magical human being. And I saw him working out a man who was, I believe, 75 in the gym, a different gym that I normally don't go to. And I couldn't believe what this guy was doing. On one leg, standing on a Bosu ball. You know, the Bosu ball is that half ball with a platform on it. So it's really hard. And one leg, and having a 35 or 40-pound kettlebell in his right hand, going up and down and then over the head on one leg. And then doing all kinds of things. There's a 93-year-old woman, I believe, that presses 150 pounds. They're all people.
What do you press? What do you bench?
And then it's all people that are, you know, sort of in their 70s, or 80s or 90s, and then he changed. You know, we talked about diet and supplements, and so I just got rid of everything. I've been on it now for 2 weeks. A diet, strict as can be. I can't tell you how much better I feel. I had a concert on Friday night. The improvement I felt in my core because of the concert was, I don't even have words for it. It was like a game changer.
Make a new word for it.
Hudibus. It was a hudibus. And I'm ecstatic about it.
Wow. Mom, this enthusiasm.
I'm so jealous.
Does it make you nervous? Do you think there's something going on between Dad and this guy romantically?
No.
Excitement is so...
The excitement
But I'm hoping to get Mom into it as well.
We're going to go to our first listener question today. I really like this one. It's a question from Mariana, and it's an email, so we don't need our headphones, and I'll just read it to you. Hi, Kathryn and Mandy and Gideon. Not all of us, but a lot of us in America come from people who came from somewhere else. It feels like we're forgetting that right now. You guys have talked about your grandparents who came from elsewhere. I'm curious, what are each of your family's immigrant stories? When did they arrive in America, and what were their experiences like? Appreciate you taking my question, Mariana, via Italy. Thanks to my parents.
Oh, wow.
First of all, we're all immigrants in this country, and I beg Americans to please be kinder to our fellow immigrants that are being brutalized and hated and deported to foreign countries that there weren't even their previous homes, places where they could be in danger. You wouldn't be here in this country without open, welcoming arms to your ancestors at some point in history. And so let's just, I don't even remember the question because I hear the word immigrant and what's going on with people in this world right now towards immigrants. It's so cruel. And I think my ancestors.
The question was just what is your immigrant story?
I'd love to tell that.
Yeah, go ahead, honey. Go first. Sorry, I just got.
I know it's a crazy time.
It's a crazy time.
My dad's parents came at a really amazing time. They came in 1904, 1 year before the Russian Revolution, and my dad's name was Max Gorodetsky. He landed in Brooklyn. He started a garment factory. One of my biggest treasures that our dogs destroyed, and it still kills me, was one of those cardboard photos with my Grandpa Max surrounded by this bevy of immigrant women from all over the world that seemed to like him. And he was here for 25 years. And his name was Max Gorodetsky. My dad's birth certificate said Israel Gorodetsky.
Wow.
And in the middle of the night in 1925, my grandfather put his wife, his 3 children in a Model T Ford, and in the middle of the night started driving from Brooklyn to San Pedro, California.
Wow.
Which is as far away as you could get. Changed the name from Gorodetsky to Grody.
Also changed his first name.
Changed his first name.
What was the change of the first name? Israel.
Israel. He changed
To what?
That was my dad's name. He changed my dad's name to Irving. He changed the name from Gorodetsky to Grody, and
Did he
opened
change
another.
his first name?
His first name was Max, so I guess.
Yeah,
but it was Max
Israel
to Grody.
felt a little more Jewy.
Yeah, but also he changed his name from Gorodetsky, which I always thought was so interesting because he was here for 25 years. It's not like it happened at Ellis
But
Island.
weren't they also fleeing garment wars
Yes,
between
what I
the
found
Jews and
out-
the Italians?
Well, this is Mom's hypothetical.
Well, this is what I
reasoning.
found out. I can't understand why else. There were garment wars between the Italians and the Jews during the 20s.
But not
and
the mafia. Or the mafia?
Well, yeah,
Mafia.
that would. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
there were
I think
disparage
there's Jewish
Italians.
mafia, there's Italian mafia, everybody's
Whatever.
got a mafia.
There were wars that my grandfather evidently. I didn't know this when he was alive because he died when I was 13, so I could never ask him. I didn't know about this until like 10 or 15
But you don't
years
have
ago.
proof of this. You're just thinking this is
No,
what
but that's
must
the
have happened.
history, and there was something he did that made them leave with no warning.
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
of the night, and change his name and change his family's name.
That's not something you do without
Some
Yes,
danger.
emergency.
we had great picture
Yeah.
of him to support Mom's theory with him and all the women at the factory.
That's what I just said, huh?
Did you say what happened to the picture? That's what I
That
was
the
getting
dogs
to.
Yeah, she
licked
said
it
that
off.
too.
She said that too?
Yeah, did you go somewhere else?
That the dogs licked the
The
pictures
dogs
of you?
licked
She
the
didn't say
She
picture.
said
that.
the dogs
Don't-
destroyed it.
They destroyed it. I didn't
Because
say
they licked the old glue.
It
Oh,
was
that's
horse
great.
glue or something. So
Yeah.
they licked the picture off, which just kills me.
I'm sorry, when Mom talks sometimes.
Yeah,
I know,
really.
you both,
don't
you
listen.
both
I know.
have that
It's part of the
phenomenon
whole
with each other.
conversation aspect. Anyway, so that was
Well, I got to hear
them.
it twice.
And I'm named after his wife, my grandma Katie, and who died before I was born, but knew my mom and dad were pregnant with me. And so I've always had a connection with her.
And do you remember growing up having a sense that America was made of immigrants? Or did
Yeah,
that
I
come to
grew
you
up.
later?
Well, what also came with that is that it was the best country on earth and never did anything bad.
Right.
And so I grew, and my mom's parents came in 1928, right before the Depression. So that was a whole different experience. And they had a little grocery store. And evidently, and I remember I always got a free Abba Zaba when we went to visit them. It was where the Mark Taper Forum in L.A. is now, Bunker Hill.
What's an abazaba?
It was a great taffy candy with peanut butter inside it. Anyway,
What's your favorite candy now?
Almond Roca or C's almond toffeettes, but I don't eat that anymore.
Dad, would you say I grew up in a home where you and Mom cooked a lot?
No.
Why do you think there wasn't more cooking?
Time. When you're busy, it's tough. Mostly you got to go shopping, you got to pick everything up, you got to plan it, you got to do this, you got to do that. You get a little stressed.
You get overwhelmed with like the measuring cups, the measuring spoons. I feel like you think people steal things from your kitchen and don't put them back.
Yeah, no, it's a little tricky. You go for this spoon or this cup, and I can't find it. Mom sometimes doesn't put them away. You come over and borrow them, take them over to your house. Somebody doesn't bring it back, and you want to jump out the window. And so, yes, it's a little challenging.
Mom also doesn't believe that there's a difference between a quarter teaspoon and a tablespoon.
She's not into
Yeah,
the numbers.
yeah.
Yeah, she cooks by
Right.
feeling and color.
I feel like Marley Spoon has made a real difference for you guys, huh?
Yeah. You know what? It's like GPS for driving. We're not screaming at each other about directions. It's simple. It's all there. It's right there. And the food's terrific. We're happy. And then we go watch a movie.
You guys were going on about the lemon pepper chicken with broccoli and pinto beans you had the other night, but I didn't get an invitation for that. Why?
Yeah, because I was hungry and I didn't want to share it. I mean, with Mom, she'll give you all the food off her plate since you were born. I'm not that way. I don't like sharing.
That's why I like her more.
That's right.
This podcast is sponsored by Marley Spoon, and I'm genuinely excited about this because it's helping me fast-track my way to eating well without losing my mind. Head to marleyspoon.com/offer/don't listen for up to 25 free meals. Woo! That's marleyspoon.com/offer/don't listen for up to 25 free meals. Please invite me over for dinner.
Dad, what's your immigrant story? Where did your people come from?
Grandpa Max came over. I think he had a brother. We got all this because you got us on that show. You got me on that show, Finding Your Roots. And so we have the exact information. But I don't hold on to it all that well. You probably remember it better than I. His brother David came over first. And then he was here. And then he went back and got killed.
Which was an incredibly rare story at the time for somebody to immigrate to America and then return back to their home country. And I think it was because...
He get killed alone or the whole family?
He was missing home too much and found a way to get back and then got
killed.
Murdered
from a robbery or something.
Yeah.
And,
well, but I think that some of his children ended up in camps.
That's right. I mean, you always thought we didn't have family.
Yeah.
Got killed in the Holocaust and found out. But I just want to remember, they came over from Belarus.
That is what we found out originally. I thought it was Bronsk and Sokolo, Poland initially, but the research that they did on Finding Your Roots was that actually it was Belarus that my father's side was from.
Yeah.
And I don't remember my mother's side was from where.
I thought...
they didn't do that. Well, they did, but I can't remember.
Lithuania?
I think Lithuania.
Anyway, they weren't from here.
Well, the borders changed so much.
Constantly, the Russian, Polish, Belarusian borders. Anyway, he came. It was 4 brothers. My grandfather had 3 other brothers, so those 4 brothers married these 4 sisters, and the 4 brothers and 4 sisters were first cousins.
Oh, my God.
So that is the excuse that many in our family use for whatever insanity you think we behold.
Apparently, genetically, it's come out that you can have kids with your first cousin.
Well, but you know what's interesting?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Are you interested in any of your first cousins?
I wouldn't recommend it. I'm just saying, genetically, it should be fine. I think you get into problems when several generations
keep
of first
intermarrying.
Cousins keep fucking each other.
You know what's so interesting to me about it? And especially now that I've seen the first episode of Ken Burns' American Revolution, which I recommend to everybody.
It's wonderful.
This idea that any human being has a right to pursue happiness, I never realized what a radical idea that was. In the world. There were hierarchies that were established in every culture that had its kings and its servants and its touchables and untouchables. And that idea from the very beginning, as poorly as we have lived it and acted on it, the aspiration of it, the idea of it, the mythology of it is so powerful. You know, from my grandparents thinking they could live better lives and less restricted lives as Jews, as people in this America, to our new friends from Afghanistan, who, when I apologize to them of them coming here at this very difficult time, the most difficult time in my experience, they look at me like, not compared to what we just went through. You know, that notion is so powerful and so unique to us, do you know, that it still is in the zeitgeist of people that are having difficult lives because no one wants to leave home. I'm very moved by the immigrant experience, and it's something worth fighting to remind any of the deluded people here that that is not what we are as a nation of immigrants.
I mean, when you see videos of people being arrested and kidnapped by ICE, do you see your ancestors? Do you see your family?
Well,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I see friends that we help bring over here, and I'm worried about them every day. They tell me that they're safe and the paperwork they have is okay. I see all kinds of people. People are being picked up that are legal American citizens.
It is
and
unbelievable
because of the
to
color
me.
of their skin. The laws that are not being respected, the Constitution that's being ignored, everything
Due
that's
process.
being broken down by this particular administration is out of comprehension.
You guys remember what happened, though, in, I think, was it North Carolina?
Yes.
A massive response,
Yes.
massive protesting.
Yep.
And then in 5 days of ICE landing there, they left and claimed that their operation
Yeah.
had finished.
Yeah,
That
right.
it was clearly a response to
that's-
huge
we need more of that.
outpouring.
There's unbelievably brave, really great actions going on in city by city and county by
We've
county.
had sensible immigration quotas coming into this country, and they have brought them down to virtually zero, unless you're a white South African.
Which is so insane that it's like really The Onion or satire.
The level of hatred
It's just-
and
ignorance.
racism and ignorance that's going on right now in our country is being felt by everyone of Republican, Independent, and Democrat. This isn't just even MAGA people are being outraged, and they are showing their outrage at the ballot box, and that doesn't solve the problem, and that doesn't repair the damage that's been done to people's lives already that may never be recovered. Many will never be recovered with the damage that's been done. Like any war, it's a war on humanity.
But I'm hoping that the extreme of this will really swing back and help us make a fair system here for everybody.
Yeah. I love some of the more creative responses I've seen to this.
Yeah.
Like two that come to mind was when Portland was being called a war zone.
Right?
Everybody showing up to the detention centers in inflatable animal costumes and everything to be like, this is your war zone?
Yeah.
A bunch of giraffes and frogs and like Pokemon figures?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like meeting the horror with humor and creativity while also, organizing. I mean, people are, we just posted, people are going in the hundreds and thousands to trainings of how to support immigrant communities, how to film, what your rights are, how to let people know their rights, what the calls are in community. People are whistling and calling when they see ICE coming, telling folks to get indoors.
Yeah.
Schools are locking up. There's an emerging vocabulary of how to keep communities
You know what?
safe, which is from all of us working together.
I know.
Yes, sir. Look, we've avoided a lot of these political discussions so far on this podcast. I don't think that's helpful anymore. I think we're all talking where we're talking because we're just so infuriated and exhausted from it. I encourage our listeners, if you're listening, and you have some personal stories to share with us of people that you knew and loved or worked for you, and injustices that you've witnessed, call us and tell us about it.
And I think
and use our platform for some of that.
And I think we'd also just love to hear from more immigrant voices, whether it's experiences or questions of crisis, or also immigrant voices who are having fun or having silly things.
Yeah.
Like we've got, we're going to be, posting an invite to more of those voices.
Right.
And just want people to know that you can be anonymous on this show if you want to call in with a question or an experience.
Yes.
I think it's also important to remember, while there is this crisis and this horror going on, there's also immigrants all over this country who are having fun, having beautiful times, doing
wonderful things.
Celebrating,
Medical
sending their
medical
kids
practitioners saving people's lives,
right?
Finding scientific cures for illnesses.
So it's easy to lose track of that part of the story when the horrible madness is being shouted.
Yeah.
Right.
But Melania Trump's an immigrant, and so are her parents immigrants.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump is a descendant of immigrants.
I think your point is none of us are far from this experience. So
every person who's not a Native American in this country is an immigrant or brought here by force from slavery.
Yeah.
And wake up.
Wake up.
Okay.
What's so bad about being woke when all you got to do is wake up?
We often record these episodes in advance so we don't get to respond in real time to what's going on in our country. It is a hard and frightening time. We believe we all have to do whatever we can to help protect our immigrant family members, friends, colleagues,
and neighbors.
Today, we want to offer just 2 ways to get involved. Connect with Indivisible, a grassroots organization that mobilizes local actions across the U.S. Their website is indivisible.org.
Another great organization is the National Immigrant Justice Center, whose mission is to establish and defend the legal rights of immigrants. You can go to immigrantjustice.org and click on the Ways to Help tab. We're all in this together, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, headphones are on. So our next question is from a guest who has joined us. Hello, Known.
Hello.
Known, what do you want to talk to us about today? Are you with us?
I am. Can
Hello.
you hear me?
Hi. Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Hi. So lovely to meet
Oh,
you
wow,
all.
Noam, look at those beautiful plants.
Known.
Known.
No.
No, like
Known.
I've known that.
Yes.
Exactly. Just spelled differently.
What's that name? What kind of name is that?
It's made up. My parents made it
Oh,
up.
wow.
They were hippies of sorts, and to them it means known by God. To me, it means known by dog.
I am so envious of those beautiful plants. I was just talking, we have literally both our sons are great like you are with living things in their house. We have one plant that I've been trying to keep alive, and it looks so bad. I'm debating whether to give it for remedial help to them or just give
No,
up
and I guess you're wondering why we called into your show today. Kathryn had some questions.
about plants.
Yes, let's talk about plants.
Known, where are we talking to you?
Yeah.
Where are we talking to you from today?
I live in Southern California.
Southern California. Nice.
That's where I'm from.
And
Yeah.
you have a question you wanted to share?
I do. Yeah. So I'll just start by saying I have surface relationships with both of my parents. And real quick, as kind of a form of protection, I would say boundaries, a little bit of seeing them for who they are, and a little bit of meeting them where they are as well. I grew up as a sensitive kid. I think I still am a sensitive kid. Didn't always feel safe at home. My father was a bit emotionally volatile. My mother insisted that staying with him was God's will. I won't go into a ton of detail. Just point is they caused some harm for sure. I think I've worked through a lot of that in therapy. And I suppose because of, as I've gotten older, I think I've softened toward them. I think who they were in their own way, they did what they knew was best, I think. And yet I still grieve. And I suppose because they are my parents, because what might have been, what could have been a different childhood, and because I'm at a place in my life where the relationships I value the most are ones where I can truly be fully, infallibly me, myself. And so my question is, and I would love to have a conversation about this, is like, have you experienced in your life surface relationships, either as partners or as friends or as a son and daughter? And how do you manage that? And do you have any tips?
So they're no longer together,
Correct. They
your parents.
correct. They separated a few different times. They got divorced twice to each other, and they separated finally maybe 15 plus years ago.
So has there been any assumption of responsibility? Has there been any accountability from either parent in terms of saying, I'm sorry your childhood was so difficult and I would like to have a more intimate relationship and not just a surface? Is the desire just from you or is it from either parent, and are your siblings on the same page with you?
I would say some efforts to repair have been made on both my mother's and my father's side. I really haven't had a relationship with my father for about 15 years now, though we did have coffee for the first time in 15 years just a couple of months ago.
Wow.
My siblings, I would say, are... I can't speak for them, but it feels like we're all on different pages, I would say. I feel like if I were to kind of clarify for myself, it feels like I was maybe the most sensitive and I was most impacted by some of the stuff that happened growing up.
What inspired you guys to have that cup of coffee after such a long time?
Great question. I would say, so he had been reaching out for years, and I think even just a few years ago, it would have been like just the thought of sitting with him, like in person with him, would have been perhaps too emotionally challenging for me. And he had reached out, and I, just on my own end, have been working through a lot of stuff in therapy and just growing myself as a human. And I felt content and okay and safe enough to just kind of meet him. And it was fine. I guess the one boundary, I should say, the one boundary that I clarified for him was, we're not going to talk about anything in the past. I want to get to understand who you are as a person now. And it went okay.
Great.
Wow.
Good. That's important. No, and I want to poke around a little bit. What vocation are you involved in?
I do a variety of things. I actually do some podcast consulting. I'm a sort of author, I suppose. I run an Airbnb. I do other types of consulting, empathy consulting for some organizations. And I run the household with all of our horses and dogs and chickens.
Wow. Are you married? Do you have children?
I am married. I've been married for over 15 years now. No kids, just all the animals.
And
Wow.
do your siblings have similar difficulties with your parents?
Again, I can't speak for them, but I do know that there have been difficulties. My father, in particular with my father, who has a volatility about him that can be difficult to be around. He's just can be kind of a seething, emotionally fraught type of person that can be difficult.
I just want to say something. Families, I don't know. I have a younger brother who always refers to family damnamics, And I think you want to connect to the people that are your blood kin. And sometimes it is possible. Sometimes surface relationships are all you can have with them. And I have a lot of what I call chosen kin, people that I consider family that are not blood relatives, but it is just we have a 50-year relationship or a 30-year relationship or a 5-year where we just connect without all the Sturm und Drang of that history. Do you know? Yeah. So I think it really depends on what it costs you in your present health and your present well-being. How much of that do you want to sacrifice to repair what might not be repairable? I think it was brilliant for you to say to your dad, let's just start from now and see who we can be together. Yeah. But it's a matter of how much time do you want to spend on the past agonies, or do you just accept that that was the past, do what you can to be kind, and move on? I remember when my dad died, his sister wanted to show up at a memorial, and my mom actually said to her, "This is a gathering for the people that loved Irv. It's no time for crocodile tears. I'd be glad to see you some other time, but you are not welcome here today," because she caused my father such pain. And the other relatives were aghast. "Oh, you can't say that to my mother." She said, "Oh, yeah, I can. On this day when my husband suddenly died, I can do anything." So I think you balance how much space it takes up in your mind. How much this bothers you that you have what you call surface, and how much those surface relationships are as far as you can go with those people. And maybe just if you see your mom more often, or if you see your siblings, that really starting in the present is great, I think. It just depends on how much it aggravates you or grieves you, how much time it takes up is what I would think.
Yeah.
If what you need to solve with them or you need to just let go.
What do you think about what Kathryn said, Don?
I think that's beautifully said. I think that as I've gotten older, I feel like I've defined, or I've continued to kind of clarify for myself what fills my heart and what makes sense for who I am. Obviously, that's always changing and should be, I feel, but I think that growth and that perspective gathering and that, not being too precious about things has led to a point where I can be a little bit softer toward parts of my past experiences with my parents that were very traumatic, and seeing them for who they are. And at the same time, like I yearn for and I starve for those relationships where we can, and I guess you find those in, like you said, your chosen kin or your partnerships or your friends, where we can, as humans, be fully present and not only be present, but just like fall apart and be messy and get feedback and criticism and all those things that we need as humans. Those are the relationships that I cherish the most,
I want to say a few things. It's dicey ground, this whole podcast business, which has an element to it that people call in for advice from us, which I think is insane.
That's where the title comes from.
Don't listen to us, and I really think that needs to be printed on my forehead. Don't listen to me. But at the same time, I hear your story that you're telling us, and I run it through the filter that I know best, which is myself. Mm-hmm. I have a volcanic personality. I don't know your father. I try to be as kind as can be. I came from a very kind father. But I have lost it twice with Gideon, my dear son sitting across from me, recently, in an unacceptable way. Mm. But Gideon has inhaled and adopted the breath and the nature of the leader of our family, which was our Uncle Mike, Kathryn's brother, who was a Zen Buddhist monk, who we've already said some of it already. Live in the moment. Don't go back. Don't go forward. Be right here, right now, onward. And Gideon has, he will tell me immediately that this is unacceptable, the way I be. And also, let me just say this, and I'm not trying to defend your father or those ways or condone it, or myself, but I do know that for me, I don't behave this in an inappropriate way. Sometimes in the past I have, but nothing like what I'll allow to be seen by my sons, my two sons and my wife. They have seen the absolute worst of me because I think consciously, but more unconsciously, I feel safe. Mm. And so the best comes out of me, and the worst can come out of me to be witnessed. But what Gideon has blessed me with, more than anyone I really know in my life, is helping me let go of it, because I see him just moving on, saying what he needs to say, moving on. So I get to a point where I take a nap. I literally am, it's like Jekyll Hyde. I literally recover because I'll get so upset and I can't control something. And then I'll write a note of genuine love and admiration and unconditional love, and also expressing that I'm out of my fucking mind at times. And some of it I can change and some of it I can't change. But I was using the excuse of this is who I am. This is who I've always been. I've worked really hard on myself, and I've made some progress, and I've made a lot of not progress also in other areas. But I've been blessed, whether it's with children or a wife or friends or any entity or human communicator. My dog communicates with me, but I've been blessed with people that don't give up on me, and that don't give up on me. And I think, I think there are incidences when, whether it's a parent or a brother, a sibling, a relative, or a stranger, can wound us so deeply that the wisest thing to do for the rest of our lives is to stay away, like a poison that, don't eat that mushroom ever again. But if it's at all possible to be the leader in your family or in the relationship and say, I can't fix you. You are who you are. That's up to you whether or not you want to stop drinking or yelling or not listening or holding on to whatever you're holding on to. But I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to go for the best till the day you die or the day I die. And I've had the privilege of experiencing this with Gideon, and he doesn't give up on me, and it makes me better. And the Gideon fingerprint and the Mandy fingerprint have nothing to do with the known fingerprint and known's dad fingerprint. And so I know that. But what?
Can I chime in?
I'll be quiet now. I've said enough.
No, I appreciate all that, Dad, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I think an important element here in the people close to you in your life who you feel haven't given up on you is because you have other qualities that make it worth not giving up on you.
Yeah.
Right.
If somebody is, experiencing a temper or a difficult thing or not listening or feels something is unfair in a relationship, they have to have other rewards in that relationship that make it worth not giving up on you. You might, lose your temper sometimes with your family or, have a difficult time communicating. And I think you're right. I think it's a universal thing. We often save the worst for those who are closest to us. But the reason I don't give up on you and your closest people have is because you also have the capacity for self-awareness, self-humor, the ability to apologize, the ability to never stop working on yourself. You have all these things.
And there's a boundary of love.
Yes, that are very special and that make it feel like there can be progress out of that moment and an ability to reflect and take responsibility for one's actions. A lot of people, a lot of men, a lot of dads in particular out there don't have those other elements.
Why?
Because I would argue
because you're raised that way to be toxic
masculinity, never being able to talk about your emotions. You grew up in the theater. You grew up around all these people mining emotions, telling stories about their feelings. What is your motivation? What's the action you're playing?
I know, but I just don't feel that different from other Joes out there.
That's most of the other Joes out there that you've known have also been in the theater. You might not feel different, but you are. You're exceptionally different. But this just brings me back to a question for Known, which is, like, how did you feel after your coffee with your dad? Did you feel there was enough there that was interesting and meaningful for you to keep having a relationship, to keep exploring that?
Such a thoughtful question. And I think both what Mandy and Gideon, what you have said is very wise. And I think there's a lot of stuff to pull from that. I would say that the meeting we had over coffee a couple months ago, again, we hadn't really spoken or had face-to-face time in over 15 years. I was a little apprehensive going into it. And I could also tell that he was very nervous. And that nervousness, I think, is a vulnerability in and of itself. I also have to remember that, with empathy comes like looking at context and looking at history and looking at the whole picture. And one thing that has allowed me to soften with him specifically is understanding that, Mandy, you mentioned your father. My dad's dad, as I've known it or as it was described to me, he had a pretty kind of loveless childhood. He didn't have a ton of love or warmth in his world, and that paints a picture, right, that tells a story that influences us. And so I do have to remember those bits. And so specifically to your question, Gideon, I would say that, we're all going to die, right? He's in his early 70s. I'm not saying we're all going to die. We're all going to leave this earth to go wherever we're going to go. And I don't want to give up on like that. Like maybe there is some growth there, and I am open to it. And I think I'm proud of myself for getting to that place. And I don't know if it will be possible to have a deep, meaningful relationship with him, but I I feel like I'm open to the idea of being in his life. I'll say that.
Great.
That's cool.
Go ahead, hon.
I just want to say now, I'm very moved by the fact that with all these difficulties, you are clearly a person that's not afraid to feel, that's not afraid to connect with people, that is making this effort. And, maybe your relationship with this person will just be having a cup of coffee every once in a while.
Yeah.
And if that feels better to you and better for your wounded heart that is trying to heal than never seeing him again, then I think that's a good thing to happen. And we have so many varieties of kinds of relationships, and I think sometimes we don't give, the emphasis is on intimate, incredibly meaningful, loving the best. There's all gradations that can have value depending on what you need from that particular person. Do you know?
That's true.
And I think the diversity of relationships is important and adds different things to our lives too.
That was Becky agreeing.
That was Becky agreeing. Our dog.
Yeah. No, I just want to say this is something I know you know. That old expression, hurt people, right? Sure. And the fact that you have been able to overcome that own pain from your initial experience as a kid and not pass it on is a real victory of your own humanity and your own healing. And it was lovely, lovely, lovely meeting you and seeing those beautiful plants, and say hello to the horses.
I will. It was so lovely meeting you too.
And same
Thank
here.
you.
We had a teacher that I never forgot her words to both of us once, where life is a messy thing. And, for better or worse, it is. It's a messy thing. Some wonderful blessings and some amazing challenges. I wish you everything.
Have a great day. No, say hello to my home state.
Thank you so much for calling in, man,
Thank
and
you.
hope to talk to you again.
Thank you so
Be
much.
well.
Appreciate you all.
Take care. No.
Okay, for our last little segment here before we wrap up today, Dad, you had mentioned before that you desperately needed hobbies and that you wanted hobbies. And I said I'd bring you some on this show. And so I just want to pitch you one.
Okay.
And the one I learned about that I thought you could be really good at is extreme ironing. So this started off as a joke in the late 90s. And the first and only world championship was held in Germany in 2002. And people had participated in extreme ironing their shirts
serious?
on an ironing board. They've done this while skydiving, while underwater, while rock climbing.
How can you iron underwater?
What do you think?
I'm going to get 10 different irons.
Yeah.
And 10 different ironing boards.
Yes.
I'm going to buy 20 different shirts. I'm going to probably buy 30 just in case I burn some.
Yes.
And I'm going to begin training. Because I talked to you about my other physical trainings.
Yes.
I'm going to incorporate this in my
is
training
perfect.
routine. I can't imagine a better way to get away from my troubles.
And where are some extreme ironing spots you think you'll try some ironing at?
Some of the underarm areas of the shirt. Because sometimes those pinch the hairs under my arms.
Yeah.
And I think
Do you even
better
own
iron.
a garment
I think
you
he's
could
maybe
iron?
misunderstood the fundamentals of the sport.
Yeah.
No. Then the locations for ironing.
Yes.
I wouldn't choose Costa Rica. I just find it too humid. So it's pretty hard to get the humidity out of the garment.
Yes.
No matter how long you iron for, and I feel you're in danger of burning.
Sure.
A hole. So I would go to, I guess, Norway. I'd like to see the Northern Lights.
Would you do it
while I'm ironing.
while skiing?
I could do it while skiing.
No.
I would have somebody be pulling me in a sled, skiing in front of me.
Sled dog ironing.
Sled dog
That's
ironing.
hardcore.
I would do that. I'm not against. I know there's a lot of hubbub about Mr. Bezos and taking people of means up in space. But if I bumped into him, I'd make an exception just to practice the ironing.
Thank you for bringing it to the next level. You can send other hobby ideas our way, and we'll get my dad right on that. Ma, you don't need any hobbies. You're
so busy. You
got
have
your
so many
things.
friends.
Do you
I
need
do
a new
wanna-
hobby?
Well, I would learn to mend things better in a creative way with threads and stuff like Jenny does.
Okay.
You know, and I actually had an image when you were talking about this absurd subject. My Aunt Ida, who I adored, was the only person I ever saw iron, and I realized that she did it as a meditation.
Oh, yeah.
Because it really took her out of whatever she was unhappy about. I mean, she would make these starch. We don't own any clothes that need ironing. I mean, we don't even have clothing that needs ironing anymore.
Next episode will be entirely ironing themed.
Yeah, and there will be another person subbing for me here, please. Please,
that'll be the tipping
this will be.
point.
That's really. I know. I don't ever need to talk about ironing in my entire life again.
Well,
That's what this moment has taught you.
Yes, that's what
You
this
should
taught
out
me.
of luck because we loved it.
Well then.
Everybody, here we go. Ending the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sending us your advice. Send us the hobby ideas. You can send an email to askmandyandkathryn@gmail.com or check out our socials for an easy way to send us a voice note. And thank you so much for being here and tuning in.
Thanks for not
Someone
listening to
else's
us. Okay.
Listen to me. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Listen to me.
Don't listen to us.
I want you to listen to me. I need you to listen to me. I need you. I need
Goodbye. I've been trying to end this episode for 20 minutes.
I've been listening a lot.
Been trying to end this
I
episode.
go a fishing and I'm just a listening. I'm just a listening.
Somebody who has the button.
So don't
just
tell me
push
what
the button.
to do.
And the
And
button,
don't just
push
call
it
me who
abruptly.
is not the one
Save
who's
the people
listening
from
to
the-
you. Don't listening. Don't
Pull the
listening.
plug. Don't Listen to Us is a Lemonada Media original, hosted by Mandy Patinkin, Kathryn Grody, and Gideon Grody Patinkin. Created by Katrina Onstad, Debbie Pacheco, and Gideon Grody Patinkin. Executive producers are Kathryn Grody, Gideon Grody Patinkin, Mandy Patinkin, Katrina Onstad, Debbie Pacheco, Jessica Cordova Kramer, and Stephanie Whittles Wax. Our engineer is Ryan Derringer of Welterweight Sound. Video and audio production by Mark Whiteway of Bellows Media. If you haven't subscribed to Lemonada Media Premium yet, now's the perfect time. You can hear Don't Listen to Us completely ad-free. Plus, you'll unlock exclusive bonus content like behind-the-scenes conversations, questions so weird they didn't make it on air, Becky the Dog shenanigans, and more. Just tap the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, head to lemonadapremium.com to subscribe on any other app, or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership. That's lemonadapremium.com. Don't miss out.